Oh, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? How are you doing? The question is, because you're the only one on here right now. Mr. and Mrs. Replayer, how's it going? Love to hear from you. If you've been on more than one of these, I'd love to hear from you. Just let me know. Let me know you're alive and kicking. All right. Excited for this one today. Anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm just going to crank out this on the replay for you in case you don't watch all the way. We're going to play this real quick.
In 10 years, I hope to have a very successful business with my video production stuff. As you can tell, I'm not the actor. Not at all. I like to be behind the camera in front of this, putting stuff together. An amazing 2011. I started with nothing, and I've just surrounded myself with really good people. And anything's possible. I'm kind of goofy and kind of awkward in front of the camera, because again, I like to be behind it.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Gevin here, and I'm super excited to be with you on Wednesday. We're going to do this video in 60 seconds or less. Thank you very much. Just kidding. All right, let's go at it. So I am fired up. Find what you're passionate about, but keep trying. Even in my trying to find what lights me up, I keep failing. I keep doing things. I keep trying so I can find that thing.
What's up? Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Ricky Meyer, how's it going? Yolanta, how's it going? Excited to have you all on here today. All right. Super excited to talk about the topic I have at hand here today. I've been getting a few messages, and something that came up. And, I have been putting out some form of inspirational, encouraging, motivating, uplifting content since probably about, according to my Facebook memories, about 2011, 2012 maybe. And then I posted pretty regularly from around 2012 through 2016. And I had a YouTube channel, and one of the things that I said a lot used to be kind of my tagline. My wife made a shirt design of it. It said, anything is possible. And, what's interesting is that what I've realized, and some of you have been catching me here recently, and welcome, the Gebinator. I don't know who that is. So on this one thing, I'm streaming to a few places, so I can see most of the comments, but sometimes it just says Facebook user. So I got the Gebinator. Sup? Still goofy, though. Aloha from Hawaii. Awesome. Welcome. Yeah, where are you coming in from? Is this your first time, multiple times? Excited to have you here and to bring the fire here for you today. These are designed to give you upliftment, encouragement, but also perspective and a little extra pep in your step to give you some peace of mind and clarity to what may be holding you back. And, I'm big about not just sharing rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns like everything is great. And you're like, oh man, he's so, we see people online sometimes and their current state where they're at. And we think, wow, I wish I could be that. And so there's this inevitable frustration or struggle because maybe you're frustrated or things are difficult or you have certain things you want to do, but you think, oh, good for him. I just posted that video at the beginning of this with my kind of transition of my own confidence and ability to communicate. And, oh, what's up, buddy? How are you, my friend? Simon, what's up? So it's interesting because when I say at times this idea, so this title, I know what I really want to do, but I have kids, bills, debt, family, etc. I got to be realistic. And so I can really, really relate to that. And for a long time, my motivational content, what I realized, and I'll give you a little story and context here. I'm big about stories and big about kind of creating different ways to look at things and also share things from a place where it's like, I get it. And a long time ago, I don't think that I did get it. So I would be putting out motivational things, inspiring things. And I'd be saying things like, and if you're enjoying this, give some likes and love and leave me in the comments if it resonates, if this is a topic. Obviously, the title struck you. Doing these on Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, typically for the most part. A little morning mind tune-up with the Mind Mechanic. But this idea that for a long time I said the words, anything is possible. And what I realized is that was very conditional. Like I said it, but I didn't really believe it. Like I was saying it to people, I was saying it to myself, but it was like conditional on certain. Well, that anything's possible over there. Oh wait, but not over there. I don't think that might not be possible. And what I realized is that the old motivational me that used to put up content believed a lot of what I said, and definitely wanted to encourage people and get people to dream again and have the dream squashers not crush their dreams. But I realized that I was still coming from a place who was the kid in that video who was 19 years old, who lived in his parents' basement and had no bills and no debt and nothing at the beginning of my career. And so, I did the best with what I knew, but I didn't. Anyone who had the things I'm putting here, who had kids and bills and debt and all this responsibility that they felt, because maybe they went down a path and they did the best they did with what they knew, but that path ended up becoming something that they resented or didn't like anymore. And they had maybe something, maybe not. Typically I'd say yes, that they had something that they really dreamed about or would love to have done. But for one reason or another, life, family, friends, whomever, even when you lived at home or didn't have any bills or didn't have any responsibilities, someone told you it wasn't possible. Someone told you to not do it. Someone told you to not go for it. Someone told you that it wasn't realistic. And I mean, I've even had kids that I've spoke to, in high school have come up to me after a talk and said, my parents say that, I got to be realistic and I can't make a living as a creative, or as a photographer. And it gets me emotional. Yeah, the Gebs Juice, my friend, the Gebs Juice. Had a podcast called Gebs Juice at one point in time, Fernando. So again, if you enjoyed this, give it some likes and love. Let me know in the comments if this was resonating with you. And if you have any comments or thoughts or questions, let me know. But there's a lot of you, if you're older, who now that's the case. There's a high probability that when you were that person who was in high school, you had the opportunity to do whatever it is that you wanted to do, but you didn't believe that. Your confidence, your belief in yourself, you put it in others. And so those people that you believed in who told you to go get the college degree, to go get this, go get a certification, to go get the realistic job, to go become be normal, you had that opportunity. And then you went down that path that wasn't a path for you, but it was the path you went down, which is fine. But you went down that path and now you have this resentment built up. You have this angst built up and there's something else you'd rather do. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday and they said, well, they're doing really well. They're making great money, right? Great money in what they're doing right now. But if I gave them all the money in the world and could wave a magic wand, they said, no brainer. I would be doing video production. I absolutely love it. And then I said a few things and they were like, oh, but I got to be realistic, man. I've got, $15,000 a month. I got a wife and kids and da-da-da. And I'm saying, I'm not asking you to quit all that immediately and jump off a cliff and go do this thing. But I know that when something's bent up in me, and this is where my difference between the old motivator of a kid who came from the idea of, anything is possible, but yet people who were in these situations where they felt this stuckness, this cage, but it is the way it is, and I there's nothing I can do about it now. That I had reached a point in my career where I had pursued what I then wanted to do, right? So I went after it, but I had a lot of bills now. I had a lot of debt now. This was in around 2015, 2016. So 2014, 2015, some of 2016, I went kind of almost all in on coaching and mentoring and speaking and all these things. And quite frankly, from a financial level, the debt that I had built up and what I needed to pay all my bills relative to what I was earning through that and kind of sabotaging my video stuff, it wasn't moving fast enough. And I was burning through money. And so I guess this career that I've chosen and this ability to overcome things and to not give up, but maybe take pivots and shifts, but this really deep desire for a long time to encourage, to inspire, to coach, to motivate, to now, as I call it, be a mind mechanic and get in there and untangle the mind and be able to relate, but be able to really help provide a perspective that can be a shift for that person to know that if they're genuinely, if no perspective shifts or anything can make them love what it is they do, but they really desire to do something different, and but they feel stuck. That I now know because I'm a little bit of a human guinea pig here in my ability to get through things. So I'll never forget, I was with a person that I was a business partner with in 2015, 2016, and I said, I had $150,000 in debt. And he's like, whoa, holy cow, man. And I was like, yeah, okay. And the reality is, from the age of 18 till I was about to turn 30 that year, every dollar I spent was in some form of debt. Every single dollar. Credit card, line of credit, a loan, whatever it was. Every dollar I had spent from 18 to 29 had been in the form of debt. And so I would literally just get more debt to pay the debt. Like, that's how I was thinking. And I was really good at making money, but I was really great. I was calling myself a professional spender. I was a professional at spending the money. And also, I recognize now that my story was just getting by, because I used to tell this story all the time. I used to say, when I started, I said, well, if the difference between going to college or this or that means if I get to do what I love and just get by, that's fine. But if I make a lot of money, I'll be miserable. And so I perpetuated that story. So no matter what I earned, I made sure, and this was not intentional, right? So some of your reality in your life right now is not necessarily hyper intentional as much as it is, it's a story that started at some point in time from parents saying you couldn't do something or you shouldn't do something, or to be realistic, or you didn't have enough experience in your job and you needed 5 years of experience, whatever it was. And let me know if this is resonating in the comments. Just put the word resonate, put some likes and love on there. But then you perpetuated that. And now 5 years have passed, 10 years have passed, 20 years have passed, and you've perpetuated the story of you're not enough, be realistic, you can't make money doing that, you need more experience, whatever it is. You just kept telling that story. So the story I kept telling was a lot of I'm not enough, but also that you do what you love and you get by. So no matter what I earned, if I earned far beyond what I was needing, then I would spend it. But I wouldn't spend it in the form of cash. I would hoard the cash, but I would spend it in the form of debt. And so what happened was, you could spend $5,000 on a credit card and only need to pay that month $300, or it had zero interest or whatever. And so I did that from when I had zero debt and pursued my dream or my thing of video production back in the day, until I had almost $4,000 a month that I needed just to pay for debt every month. And so I don't say I'm proud of it, but the reality is that's what was happening, is that it started with zero debt, then it got up to $50 a month, $80 a month, $150 a month, but I could always pay that. And then I just kept going up and up and up and up until my buddy kind of shook me, metaphorically, and I kind of woke up, and I was turning 30, and I was getting married in just a few months from this conversation, and the thing we were trying to build just financially wasn't working. And so I made a choice, this thing that I was in my heart wanting to do. So some of you, either you haven't pursued it or you've pursued it and it didn't work right now. And so I realized that in that profession, there was a lot that I needed to work through. And so I put on hold. I didn't look at it as I'm quitting, I'm giving up, and I guess I'll just go do this other thing, because I didn't hate. Some of you don't hate what you do, but inside of you, there's something that's desiring to do something else. You've had it for a long time and you'd really like to do it, but you either do very little of it or you don't do it at all. And so for me, this work is something I've done in some fashion for a while, but I wanted to not have it be the little bit. So recently I had somebody say, well, 95% of the time I do this and 5% of the time I do this. Well, the 5% is what he really wanted to do now in his life. Maybe at one point in time, the 95 was the thing you wanted to do. And now that's been built up, but now there's been contrast. Things have happened. Things have shifted. And so there's this almost like, oh, I shouldn't want to do that. I should just suck it up. Anybody ever had that? Just suck it up, keep your mouth shut, do what you're doing, pay your bills. Someday you'll do da-da-da-da-da, right? This old way of thinking. But it is what it is. And sometimes we can't shake it. And the work I'm doing right now, the work I do all day, every day, and having conversations with people and being able to work with them one-on-one is something that it took a decade of exploration and ups and downs and trials and tribulations and, having a lot of debt, getting married. I mean, just talking to my wife, I'm like, honey, it's interesting. When you really look at our life, what people may or may not know, and sometimes in saying this, it's like, I don't know. There's a level of like, I can say it, and I say it with such a peace now inside that I used to not have. But having a powerful mindset, a positive mindset, having a strong mindset, it's easy on certain levels. Economy's good, relationships are good, business is good, everything's booming, and you're like, man, it's amazing, right? Some people still don't even have joy and happiness then. But it's easier to be happy when everything seems to be going great, and it could be. But for me to have this practice that regardless of what is going on, or if you're building something up, I've seen so many, even in myself, you build up your first career, you do really well in it. And then you go do the other career, but that career doesn't match automatically at the level of what you reached. Not everybody's going to be able to relate to this because maybe you're just trying to build your first thing right now. But some people who've built something up and then changed careers, and there's almost a level at times of starting lower than you were, and that's frustrating. And so, I put it all on hold for a couple of years. I focused 100% on video production. We almost went, I almost went only in the sense of I could have maintained, which a lot of you are maintaining whatever level of seemingly is normal now in your life, no matter how much pain and suffering inside it may be causing you. And so the debt I had, I was maintaining. But the reality of it was, people were telling me, don't pay my credit cards, go bankrupt. I pursued the bankruptcy. I didn't go bankrupt, but I ended up not paying my cards for a few months, and then things happened. But I focused, and this is an interesting thing. So the thing I really wanted to do, I took care of my wife. I took care of our finances. I focused 100% on what I had gotten really excellent at, but my internalness didn't want to do it anymore. But I did it for 2 years. And then I transitioned. And let me know. I want to see on the comments. Is this story helpful? Is this helpful to you? I don't know. People come in and out of these things, so you catch the middle of the story. The wonderfulness of Facebook Live. I like the energy of having people while I'm telling this story, while simultaneously at times people pop in 15 minutes in and they're like, I don't even know what he's talking about. What's this have to do with anything? But let me know in the comments. Resonate? Helpful? Open. The goal with this is, I can speak this out loud for my own health, but it's really for people to get value out of this. And to be able to talk about topics that are really able to hit home. And if you have questions or thoughts, and something I'm doing today for all those of you who are on here, I got a little extra pep in my step today, extra excited. What I would love to do is for a handful of you, if you send me a message, I'd love for you to experience what I really do on a regular basis day to day. So I get on here, do these little 30-minute sessions just to give a little morning tune-up little mind tune-up, little tweak, with this moniker, the Mind Mechanic. My goal is to help you get aligned, put some gas in the tank, jumpstart the battery, new spark plugs, tune that sucker up, and be able to help you move forward in a really empowered way. And listen for my line is, when I hear you, I can help you. So I'd love for you to send me a message, and just on the house, no expectation of anything. I'll send you some perspective and thoughts. Anybody who's worked with me, knows that I'll send you the fire. If you like this is only half of what I do, because this is not really what I do on a regular basis. It's working with people one-on-one. So definitely send me a message. Take it up. If this is resonating, if you have something that's inside that's been being a weight, then send me a message. You've got nothing to lose. Sometimes I feel like, even in my own life, I've had opportunities staring me in the face that I didn't see till later because I was so tunnel vision. And so, Fernando, my man, Darren, thank you. Evening tune up here. Awesome. You must be in like Australia or somewhere else. Victor, what's up? Became depressed and negative with the belief I was a complete failure. Yeah. And so, well, I'll keep the story going here for sure. If you've got some questions, do what I just said there. Send me a message. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain. But so for those 2 years, and here's what's interesting, is that what I find is, being able to shoot for, people like Richard Branson and experience some of these different people, these different business models, I've really experienced a lot. But what I know is there's a lot of solopreneurs. UK, I got engaged in London. I got some friends in Leeds. But is that if you are a solo person and you get very little help, the more you dilute yourself, the more you're running after 50 rabbits at once or squirrels, it's difficult to succeed. It's difficult to succeed in the aspect of business if you're chasing too many things at one time. And so I've seen that in my own life. The more I diluted myself in a lot of directions, I did succeed, but somewhere else, if I didn't get too much help, I was really overwhelmed and stressed, and other areas of my life suffered. And for me now, for me, it's much more of a holistic approach. So rather than having business be crushing and doing amazing, and then having, the rest of my personal life be in shambles, or my personal life be amazing, but my business be in shambles. I've worked through these areas where I've had that. I've had either or, and I've had and. But I can say that if you're not great at delegation or getting help and support, especially people who've come from being employed, you might have got to just do your sweet spot and you thought, well, I can do this. And now you have to do a whole bunch of other things that no longer there's no one there to support you. And so you feel very alone and isolated. And what I found is that somebody like a Richard Branson, he can have so many businesses. He's not running them all. He has a vision, the idea, and he puts excellence in place and they execute. And so he's not in the day-to-day. And so as much as in 2017, 2018, things went up for me, I only had one focus in business. And then 2019, I diluted that focus. And because I didn't really want to run my video thing, I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't want anything to do with it. Not that I disliked inherently it. I just had this deep desire to do this. So my point of this story today is that prior to 2016, couldn't fully understand a person who had debt and bills and family and all these responsibilities, and was telling me, and when I'm saying anything is possible, they're like, yeah, well, that's easy for you to say, and it's like, and I did. I lived in my parents' basement when I started. But by the time I was pursuing this other thing that I wanted to do, the reality was I now had a lot of debt. I had responsibility. I had a soon-to-be wife. Like, I had all these things. And so it wasn't just me living in my parents' basement and I can willy-nilly myself all around and do whatever because I need like $500 a month to survive versus needing almost $10,000 a month to survive, right? So some of you are at $4,000, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 or more a month that you need. And you're in a situation that you may or may not love anymore, but you feel like there's no way out. and you're a failure. I promise you you're not a failure, and I promise you you're not alone, and I promise you there is a way out. And it does start with you yourself, no one else, believing and having hope that there is. That's it. How and in what ways and at what speed and all these other variables that are details, I cannot answer for you. No one can answer for you, and no one knows. But I can promise you, seeing it through others and now seeing it through my life, and not just sitting here and going, anything is possible, and like, but not for you, or not over there, but yet really knowing. I mean, hell, everything that's happening right now on our planet can tell you anything is possible. Now, what's the probability of certain things? What's the speed at which they're going to happen? How are they going to happen? That no one knows. But we just got to first come from a place of hope and optimism and belief. And it might sound fluffy, wooey-dooey, whatever. I just had a guy who was, as one of you said, suffering from depression and different things. And his message literally says, my dude, I just wanted to just share some positive energy with you, as you have done with me. I just watched the rough cut of my panel show, and my producer on his first solo engagement did a great freaking job. Today, I walked through a gallery space that I was helping guide. It was great to see their forward momentum and envision another artist or group of artists bringing their dreams to actuality. They planned a grand opening the first Friday in September. My co-owner and I just powwowed on project, and as I left the room, her playlist transitioned to some positive energy hip-hop that I recommended months ago. Call it woo-woo, call it faith, call it whatever. But positive energy begets positive energy. And so I do believe with every bone in my body that it starts with us first. And we can perpetuate. It's not realistic. It's not possible. I told a guy yesterday, he really, without any shadow of a doubt, wanted to do video production specifically. He's making great money in what he was doing. And I said, in the next 3 to 5 years, based on this guy, everything he said, I wouldn't say this necessarily to everybody. I said, you could probably have a $300,000 to $500,000 video production company. I said, and he was doing $15,000 a month with this thing that if I didn't have to, I'd do this other thing. But hey, this pays really well. And he doesn't hate it, but he doesn't love it. And I said, or you could have a $30,000 a month business with what you have. I both just as realistic, right? So what is realistic? If all we look at is right now in our current reality, right now what we see, bank account doesn't have much money in it, we've got a lot of debt, our relationships aren't good, business isn't working out, COVID's hit us, whatever we're looking at the current reality. What can you do from that place? Is that hopeful? No money in your bank account, lots of debt, things aren't working out. Because what I want to say is that my wife and I have had the greatest times of our relationship and in our life at what could seem to be the lowest on the external level. And that wasn't the case before. My personal life with my wife at the peak of my income was not good. And I've seen it everywhere in between, but our story creates our reality. And so no longer is my belief that to be happy means making no money or getting by, right? Or that making a lot of money means being miserable. I have proof that that was the case for me, but I also have proof in my own mind, in my now seeking out different types of people, that doesn't have to be the reality. So whatever you speak out loud is your reality. It is not a fact and it is not truth. Meaning, it's not everyone's reality. Right? COVID has not negatively affected everyone. It has affected everyone, but positive or negative is truly in the eyes and the hands of the beholder. Because some people are like, this is the best damn thing that's happened. Now, there's a lot that's bad that's happened. We're not saying that. But for their life, that's their reality. So if you really think about that right now, what are you saying? What are you thinking? And what is your reality? Not reality, not realistic, but what is your reality? Because I promise you, you're not alone, but you're also not the only one, but you're also able to create a new one if you want to. I love this. I love this. Yeah, the best place to send me a message, I don't know, there's different places here, but somewhere you should see my name, Michael Gebbin. It's facebook.com/Gebbs86. Facebook.com/Gebbs, Gebbs 86. And then you can send me a message there. And then you can go to takemia.com. That's my audiobook, or themindmechanic.net. All those, you'll be able to download my audiobook. That's free, or you can send me a message on my website or on my personal page. But I love that. 2 years ago, the negative me would have thought you were full of shit. Yeah, I get it, man. And I'll be honest, it's so interesting as we switch, because there's a lot of what I'm talking about today that 2 years ago I thought it was a bunch of hocus pocus, whatever. And I'm not here to be religious about it, but there are things. There was a lady who worked at a radiation place, and she showed a picture one time, and it was a mutilated hand because of what radiation did to it. Because on the x-ray machine, they would stick their hand out before they knew it was bad and test it every day, make sure it was working. And this person did that every day. And so there are forces that I have a dehumidifier running in my basement. I don't necessarily see water. I don't even feel water for the most part. But yet this sucker fills up 3 times a day with gallons of water in it. So whatever your God belief or whatever is, there are forces at play that we can either, just like flipping a light switch, turning on your car, there are forces at play that we cannot understand. And people can try to put logic to it. Now, again, this is coming from a person who is speaking from a place who did not think this way 2 years ago. I promise you. I grew up Catholic, went to church every Saturday or Sunday for probably 20 years of my life, and then stopped going to church for my own various reasons, partly to do with filming weddings and being treated poorly by the Catholic Church, but it's neither here nor there. I'm not here to get religious on you. But I didn't believe in specifically anything for a long time, and now I feel very spiritual, and I know that there's forces at play, and I have faith that I can either lean into the negative, lean into what's not working, focus on all that. And what I've proved in my life is I get more of that when I focus there, or I can get more of the alternative when I focus there. What's realistic to do? Well, realistically, everything's crappy. Yeah, very well. That is what my reality is, and it seems to not change if that's all I think about. So now I've proved to myself, through faith, through belief, through taking action, imperfect action, inspired action, seeking out a different way, I've found that there is an alternative. And through me, and now my ability to hear people, I can help them. And before, I didn't have this. When I was trying to pursue coaching in this line of work prior to 2019, the reality is that I wasn't really ready, and that I needed to do a lot more work. And there's a lot of people out there in this type of work who want to do this, but they feel like imposters because they are. Some people feel like imposters and they're not. So doesn't matter what your skill set is, people of all walks of life feel like they're imposters in whatever it is that they do. But we all have to look at where we are. There's always up that we can go, but I realized that there was a lot that there was stuff that worked for people. I wasn't lying to people, but there was also, and I just wasn't aware, a lot right now of what may or may not be affecting you, you're not necessarily aware of. I called someone out recently because, again, when I hear you, I can only do so much doing this, and I'm going to wrap this up here in a second. But when I hear somebody, because people have done it for me, I can pick up on language patterns that you're running on autopilot, right? It's as if you've got this autonomous human vehicle that runs on autopilot every day and says and thinks certain things that you don't even really realize that you're saying and thinking. But that saying and thinking repeated on autopilot for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years really gets strong. And as a byproduct, has you really believing these things. And so until you get an awareness, boom, you said this, like I had somebody say, well, everybody's, being screwed by COVID. And I stopped and I said, no, they're not. You feel that way right now. People are, but not everyone, because everyone says, I'm not alone. That's good feeling. But number two says that there's nothing I can do about it because everybody's being screwed. And we may think that's subtle, but that is a huge realization. So Darren, what are you saying? How do you change? Type for me, my friend. Please send me a message too, but I'll try to do what I'm here for live here for a second. How do you change what? Because sometimes I don't pay attention when the comments come through. If you're enjoying this, give it some likes and love. Share it with a friend. I want nothing more than to just use these to spread a positive, uplifting message and create perspective and thoughts for people. So, that's it. I'm not holding anything back on these. I don't ever hold anything back. It's a blessing. It's a blessing and a curse for my life, but mostly blessing. But the reality is my business and video production was built because I couldn't hold back. If I knew how to create excellence at this level, whatever that level I was at, then I couldn't book somebody at a package that required me to deliver something less than I was capable of. So people who I would allow to book less, I would still do what I was capable of. And they got a hell of a deal. And it's the same thing in what I do today. Whether you listen to me here, you listen to me on a Voxer message, on a phone call, on a Zoom, one-on-one, in person, you're going to get the same me. You'll never know whether somebody's paying me a little, paying me nothing, or paying me a lot. That's just who I am. It's my default. I'm proud of it. How do you change the mindset? Again, the mindset, how do you change your mindset? Here's one of the biggest tips I can give you, and I'll end on this. And again, if you want to send me a message or give you an extra dose of Jumpstart privately, I'll send you a message if you give me what's going on. We can do that. Just send me a message to begin with, and we'll go from there. There's no pressure to do anything. If you want to move on, great. If not, that's fine too. I'm here to give. I'm here to help. But what I want you to do, it can be easier with others, but we can do it ourselves, is to start to become aware of how you speak and how you think. Watch yourself. It's going to be a game changer for you. And I'll give you one example. So for the part of my career I wanted to do this, but I was still overall bringing in the majority of my money off video production. Here's what I did. I would speak all the time to anyone and everyone about my story. But it'd be about my past, and it would be about what I did not want. I want you to be clear on this. Your life is a byproduct of what you have spoken about, thought about, told yourself and told others all the time, every day. So you're right where you are. Don't look at it as a negative. Don't beat yourself up that you should be somewhere other than where you currently are. Just know that where you are is where you are, and you did the best with what you knew. So now, I used to say, I don't want to travel anymore. I don't want to film anymore. I don't want this debt. I want to get out of debt. So my language is about debt, not traveling, video. Doesn't matter that I use the word don't. Imagine, any of you watching live, don't see yellow, orange, or whatever this color is. Don't see white, 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 don't see white. Hey, don't see white, don't see white, don't see white. How long will you stay on for I say don't see white? Are you going to see white or are you going to see gray? Oh, wait, now there's gray. Gray, 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 gray. Anybody seeing any red? Well, there is no red. Oh, but is there? Where's the red? Or did you see blue? Because blue's up there where you focused on the white, the gray, and the yellow, or the orange. So what I found is that's what I did. Now we could assume, well, then we want the opposite. Well, what is the opposite? Mine doesn't know. If you're not clear on what you want, it's like getting in your car, knowing where you're at, and not putting in a destination into your GPS. So what I had to do is start speaking about what I wanted. Just 2 years ago, my friends, 2018, now granted, sure, some things have changed here, but a lot's changed in my life as well that's allowed me to now have this, not just because of this change, i.e., I wanted to do this work. I wanted to coach full time, but I didn't speak about that. I don't want a video, I don't want to travel, and I don't want to have debt. So what did I do? Spoke about that when I shifted, and people caught me, and I caught me, and started practicing. It's a practice, right? Just like anything else that you get better at, you do it and again and again and again, and you practice, and you rewire, and you get better at it. And so I ultimately started saying, I want to stay home more. I want to coach. I want to be abundant. Right? So the opposite. Super powerful. I haven't gotten on a plane or traveled more than 30 minutes from where I live. I've slept in my bed with my wife every day since the beginning of March. Now, one could argue, oh, yeah, but you can't travel. Well, that's BS. There are people traveling right now. There's plenty of people on planes, maybe for a short period of time. But my life could have still revolved around traveling all the time. Because in 2017 and 2018, if you added up all the days I was gone, I was probably gone 3 to 5 months out of the year. And that was how it was from probably about 2012 to 2019. Last year I didn't travel too much, and this year I barely traveled at all. I'm just here to tell you that things can be different. You can have what you want, but you got to start with where you are. If you've loved this, if you found it helpful, this is what I do each and every single day with people. I work with people one-on-one when they're having a hard time through courses, videos, or things like this, having breakthroughs, and you're just trying to figure it out on your own. If you can, that's great. If you can't, I can accelerate that process. Call me the Mind Mechanic because I'm coming to tune up your car. Some just need a simple tune-up, and some need a full rehaul. Depends on where you're at. But I'm here to help. So hope you found that helpful, my friends. Appreciate it so much. Joseph says, great stuff, Michael. I've participated in UPW 2015 LA, and I also crewed San Jose 2018. I love Tony's content. Definitely helped me in my life. As he says, most people overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 decades. Absolutely, man. I've loved that for a long time. I'm going to play this, though, for you real quick.
It was Christmas of my sophomore year in high school. My mother gave me a video camera, and I fell in love with shooting anything and everything under the sun. That's why I really went to school to study. I went to college to study television broadcasting because I thought that was the only route you could go if you wanted to edit or shoot. I got back home trying to make this little video thing work, but I couldn't get any momentum going at all, and I about lost everything. I ended up getting evicted out of my apartment, my truck getting repossessed. I ended up moving into a small little office inside my dad's office. It was really kind of the lowest point I've ever been. The only thing that brought me any kind of joy was video. I wanted to find someone that succeeded in this. I wanted to find that it was possible, just some glimmer of hope. And I started finding through videos, and I clicked on one, and it was Michael Gebbin. And it was an inspiration. I finally got this phone call with Michael, and he goes, what do you love? What do you truly want to do? And my thing is, I've grown up around boats my whole life, in the water. And something I got really addicted to the past couple of years is these offshore poker runs. I want to be on the water. I want to be hanging from a helicopter. And he goes, well, then you know what? What we need to focus on is inspiring you and giving you the tools to do that. I had a couple calls with Michael. Things kind of were building, but there was still something missing. And he literally said jump starters. That's where I found this community of people. People just like me in the same situations that I was in, from videographers, artists, anything creative these people were doing. And we were all looking for the same thing. How do we make money doing what we love? For once, it was, there is not an A, B, and C path. You got to choose the path that's right for you. So during the event, Michael taught us about this philosophy called MIA, Massive Imperfect Action. It may not make sense, but do it. And that's exactly what I did. I went online and I found emails for almost every single poker run in the United States, and I put out a giant email campaign. And through negotiations over months and time of talking with these people and forming a relationship, we struck a $50,000 deal. That is my entire year right now, is fulfilling these poker runs. I would have never in a million years thought that was possible without jump starters and finally someone kicking my butt and saying, talk to people. If you truly love your passion great enough, you'll find a way to do it.
Rock and roll, my friends. Send me a message. Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and Fridays, typically sometime in the morning, doing these line tune-ups. And then the rest of the days outside of my personal life with my wife, riding bikes, enjoying life, work with people one-on-one. And yeah, so send me a message. I'm here to help, and appreciate you all so much. Hope you found that journey and story from Ronnie inspiring. He's been an inspiration to me because all that he's done since we originally worked together has been nothing short of a miracle. So I know anything is truly possible, and I hope you found this valuable today. I hope you find each one of these valuable, and it gives you that little glimmer of hope, as he said, that if you're in a place where it seems dark, that you know there's a light. So, rock and roll.